Division II football, as I alluded to, right? We got Benedict and Fayetteville State. They tried to broker a deal for a big game, a super big game. This would be Clash of the Titans. The SIAC winner and the CIAA winner would face off in a week 0 matchup, just to settle things, just to let the record reflect. And to be quite honest, I like it a lot. I think a week 0 matchup will be great for both teams. Now, let's get into the logistics of things and the reason why this didn't actually happen. And number one, the reason why this didn't happen is because there are no D2 football games played on week 0. There are none. Not one. You'll be hard-pressed to find any Division II football games during week 0 because training camp for Division II football starts roughly a week after Division I football's training camp. So, you know what that means. If you decide to have a week 0 game in Division II football, you will be forfeiting around 7 days of training camp practice, which would lower your days of practice to about 8 days rather than around 14 days, which is a problem for the NCAA. And it's a problem for a lot of HBCU programs or any other Division II programs that would like to play a week 0 matchup, which I think was mainly what went into the NCAA vetoing this actual game. Do the fans want it? Yes, absolutely. College football fans would love to see two HBCU football conference champions face off during week 0. If you're not reminded, usually week 0 games, you're hard pressed to find a good one across any level. So in seeing this match that could possibly happen, it makes you think, right? Because there is a MEAC and SWAC challenge that leads to the Celebration Bowl at the end of the season. But the MEAC and SWAC challenge is sponsored by Cricket. Cricket looks out for them, gives the SWAC and the MEAC a neutral site, have them face off against each other. Last year we saw Howard and Alabama State face off against each other. This year we'll get a chance to see Jackson State and South Carolina State face off against each other. It's a lot of money involved in this. And as Stephen J. Gaither, owner of HBCU Gameday, said earlier in the Spaces, what will it take for ESPN to bring out the pocketbook and create a CIAA and SIAC challenge? Is the popularity there? Does everybody want this? And I think if everybody shows that we do, and we have this past week, if we continue to show that we want this game, we'll get this type of game. Now, whether it be week 0 or not, I'm not sure. I think moving forward, if you want to have a game like this, you just have it during the regular season. This week 0 stuff is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to make that happen for any school in any conference. So week 1, possibly. I mean, we do have a matchup between Benedict and Shaw in week 1. Imagine if Benedict scheduled Fayetteville State in week 1. Now, the next question would be, how profitable would a CIAA and SIAC matchup be during the season? Can this be a moneymaker? I asked Coach Morgan, Edward Waters, he said absolutely. He said the buzz is there. They'll generate some cash. It will be a money-making game. And the reason why I asked that question is because there's a team out there, a couple teams out there that consider themselves blue bloods of HBCU football. And in being a blue blood of HBCU football, that means you get to the cheddar. You get to the money. A team like Tuskegee, I'm not sure if it would behoove them to change any non-conference games for a CIAA SIAC challenge because the money may not be right. If the money's not right, the game won't happen. Tuskegee, they operating budget for their football program is around $2.4 million. Their games this year, they're going to play the Turkey Day Classic versus Alabama State. They're going to make $500,000 from that game. They are getting paid by Alabama A&M $100,000 to play a game an hour away from their stadium. During homecoming, they make between $200,000 and $300,000. It's going to take a whole lot for somebody to convince me to pull one of those games off the schedule and add a CIAA game and expect to make at least $100,000. That's the hurdle. There'll be more thinking about it. In 2024, I think we'll really get a shot at seeing a CIAA and SIAC challenge. But for now, in 2022, we'll just have to do with the two matchups we do have. We have a matchup between Benedict and Shaw University, and we have a matchup between Morehouse and Virginia Union in the Black College